What's up, everybody? It's Powtown Smeargle. We got another deck profile for you today. This is another water deck. This is the Water Toolbox or Waterbox deck that's really come into popularity as of late. It's something I wanted to profile on here. My particular take on this deck with a couple interesting cards in it. Something, again, I am testing out for Nats, so this list isn't 100% complete. I mean, there's 60 cards in it, it's 100% complete, but it's probably not the exact 60 I would end up taking, and so I'm taking suggestions as well. So if you have any thoughts as how to improve or to change things around, make the deck a little better, always let me know in the comment section down below. Without further ado, let's jump into the Pokemon line, as that is the meat and potatoes of this deck. We are starting things off. Ooh, the lighting's a little off there. There we go. Starting things off with 3 copies of Seismitoad EX. This is one of your attackers for Night March. It handles that matchup fairly well. It's also a good attacker at the start against Greninja. If they don't have the setup right away, then they can't use their Dive Balls, Level Balls, Ultra Balls to find stuff. We actually do tech in one more card for that matchup, but this is one of your main attackers of the deck. Quaking Punch, you know, you're hitting 30, 40 with a Muscle Band, or Fighting Fury Belt, which is amazing, you know, puts you to 220. And then Grenade Hammer is 130, 140 with a Fighting Fury Belt. 130 means you're knocking out regular Greninjas. 140 means you're two-shotting everything. You're doing 30 damage to your bench, but we do play Rough Seas in this deck, and you'll see also with our next EX card how that can kind of doesn't really need to matter all that much. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Manaphy EX. Now, this is one of the reasons why this deck works so well, is its ability Aqua Tube. It's just like Dark Cloak, Darkrai, in that any Pokemon that has a water energy attached to it no longer has any retreat cost. So that's kind of how you're able to set up your plays and shuffle your board around, and why we're able to run a couple of different tech mons that we're running in this deck is because of that Aqua Tube. We also do have Mineral Pump on here should we have to do some healing, but it's not ideal, but it definitely could be beneficial in matchups like Trevenant, where they're dropping 30, you know, every turn. You can just Mineral Pump and Rough Seas away the damage. Next up are our tech mons as far as everything else goes. We'll do our support mons last. But next we're playing 1 Glaceon EX. This is for tricky Zoroark decks or for staving off a little bit of attack damage from Greninja or Trevenant with Crystal Ray. This is a card I'm considering cutting, but it's put in some work in the past, so still keeping it in for now until I kind of feel otherwise. You can let me know in the comment section down below whether or not you think this is the card to keep or the card to cut. You can let me know down there by letting me know one way or the other. Next, we're playing our tech for our Greninja matchup. Yet another tech for Greninja because that is one of the most popular decks right now, and that is Aurorus EX. Now, Aurorus is definitely one of my favorite Pokemon, but that's not why I threw it in here. It's got a great 180 HP, again, with a Fighting Fury Belt, that's 220. You've got Frozen Charm here, so each of your Pokemon with any water attached to it can't be paralyzed. So that really helps in the Greninja matchup if you can get this out early. It stalls their Froakie so that they can't rely on Bubble to get them out of a bad situation because you just can't be paralyzed. And then Crystal Breath for 4 energy does 160. This Pokemon can't attack during your next turn, but that's not a big deal because you'll probably just be retreating. With a Fighting Fury Belt, that also one-shots Greninja Break, which is fantastic. I mean, provided they don't play Hard Charm or something, that's one-shotting Greninja Break, so it's really helping your Greninja matchup. Next, we're playing 1 copy of Aegislash EX. This is another tech for the Night March matchup. As you can see, this deck is really tech heavy with 1 or 2 different techs for multiple decks so that you can try to have the upper hand. The only deck that we're really going to be struggling with is the pesky Sceptile EX deck because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... well, actually a lot of our Pokemon are weak to metal, but a good chunk of our main attackers and our main strategy Pokemon are weak to that grass attack. So that could be an issue. But we've got Mighty Shield here, protect us from those those special energy attacks, and Slash Blast if we need to. We can load it up and do chunks of 40, maybe 50 with the belt, but he's there for the special energy attackers. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Articuno. This is the Ancient Trait Articuno with the Delta Plus. I think that's Delta, might be Theta. But if your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack of this Pokemon, you take an extra prize card. So this really helps you with Night March, helps you with certain decks, just to get ahead in the prize trade. It's great. Tri-Edge is a great attack. It's 20 plus 40 more for each head you flip on 3 coins. Chilling Sigh can be nice too because you just put them straight to sleep. Helps most decks out. Next, we're playing 1 copy of Regice. This is here. It helps with the mirror match because of that Resistance Blizzard. A lot of the main attackers in this deck are EXs. It helps with big EX decks. You might in the early rounds see things like Giratina. You might see Mega Ray. I don't know what you're going to see, but Regice can definitely help with those EX-centric decks. They're still going to be floating around at tournaments and still going to be floating around at Nats. People are still going to want to play those cards. They're really powerful. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Shaymin EX for setup. And the nice thing is you can Sky Return really easily with this deck. Even though you don't play double colorless, it's really easy to get 2 energies on. And even if not, it's a 1 retreat cost. And most of the time you've got a Manaphy and you can just switch an energy onto him, which is great. Onto the Shaymin, not onto the Manaphy. You probably have one on the Manaphy already. Next, to get all of those EXs that we just listed out, we do run 1 copy of Hoopa EX. This is a card I really have grown to dislike putting in decks as of late because it just makes you weak to the Night March and to the Trevenant matchups due to that psychic weakness. But this deck really needs it to get its techs out. On to supporters, we're playing 3 copies of Professor Sycamore. We're not playing a 4th. That was something I decided to cut just to make a little extra space for a couple of things in this deck because we are playing 2 copies of N along with Sycamore for draw support. That's kind of our draw supporter lines. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Lysandre to control what's in our opponent's active because that's essential in this game, especially with this deck. 1 Xerosic to knock off opposing special energies or tools, just to kind of make our time a little bit easier. We're playing 1 AZ to be able to pick things up out of the active. Yeah, we'll lose those energies, but we could, if we have energy switches, we can just energy switch them right off and then AZ to heal up. Next, for our items, I've got 4 Ultra Balls here to go search for our Pokemon. Mainly, you're going to go grab that Hoopa first, and then the other ones can go grab either Articunos or the Regice if you need, or another tech if you need it for that matchup. Playing 4 Versus Seekers to get our supporters back, since we do play a lot of 1-of supporters, and we play a pretty short supporter line. Having Versus Seekers is really nice in any deck, but it's really nice in this one. Playing 4 Max Elixirs to get those energies out as quick as possible. Pretty self-explanatory. Just get your water energies out. We're playing 3 copies of Trainer's Mails to dig for these items and dig for our supporters. We're playing 3 copies of Fighting Fury Belt to be able to have a great tool and to boost our HP. Throw off those calcs for Night March and Vespiquen. We're playing 3 copies of Energy Switch. This is something that I've been considering cutting either the Aegislash or the Glaceon and putting a 4th one in, but 3's working okay for now. Then we're playing 1 copy of Super Rod just to get things back from our discard pile. For stadiums, it's pretty self-explanatory. We're playing 4 copies of Rough Seas. I've seen some lists play a Parallel City, but I don't think that's really necessary. I think Rough Seas is perfect. We're playing 11 copies of Water Energy. 11 waters. You'll hit your Max Elixir, I think, 80% of the time with 11. I think it's 85 with 12. I might have done my math wrong on that. Don't quote me. I majored in English, not in mathematics. But 11 waters just ensures that you're hitting your Max Elixirs and you're able to move them around with Energy Switch. You can't move around double colorlesses, you can't Max Elixir double colorlesses, so I wouldn't suggest playing it in this deck. Like always, the 60 card deck list will be in the description below. Let me know what you think by liking or disliking this video. Comment and let me know what you did or did not, what changes could be made, and thank you so much for your support on the video. It means a lot to me. And with all that being said, this is Pallet Town Smeargle signing out.